Hints. Sir, I beg to move that the bill to provide for the payment of equal remuneration to men and women workers and for the prevention of discrimination on the ground of sex against women in the matter of employment and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto be taken into consideration. A significant measure taken by government in recent months has been the promulgation of the Equal Remuneration Ordinance, providing for the payment of equal remuneration to men and women workers and for the prevention of discrimination against women on the ground of sex in the matter of employment and for other connected matters. The measure is significant not only because it coincides with the International Women's Year and brings it fully in line with accepted international standards, but also because it brings immediate relief to millions of our women fall employed or seeking employment. As most of these women belong to the weaker sections of the community and are largely employed in agriculture and unorganized sector of industry, it is not only appropriate that this measure was taken on a priority basis as a part of the government's policy of improving the condition of the weaker and exploited sections of the community. Although we in India have always held our women in high regard and given them a position of importance in society, their contribution to the economic life of the community has been fully appreciated, but a radical change in attitudes has been brought about by the nation's struggle for independence. Indian women, by their active participation in the country's struggle for independence, have earned their rightful place in the community and won their legal rights without the need for any aggressive movement. Their claim for a position of complete equality in law was justified in terms of their significant contribution to the cause of the country's freedom. It was fully recognized by the founding fathers of the Indian Republic. The Indian Constitution provides the right of equal opportunity for employed men and women without distinction. Article 15 of the Constitution prohibits any discrimination on grounds of sex, and Article 39 of our Constitution of India envisages that the state shall direct its polity, amongst other things, towards securing that there is equal pay for equal work for both men and women. India also ratified the International Labour Organization Convention concerning equal remuneration for women. The Act does not specifically provide that wages to be paid to men and women workers should be equal. Consequently, different rates of wages were laid down in several cases at the time of the initial fixation of minimum wages. Besides, there is no restriction on the fixation of different rates of wages for men and women in the sectors not covered as a result of bipartite or tripartite negotiations or arbitration. Awards could be different for men and women for similar jobs. While over the years there has been some narrowing down of the difference in wages of men and women, workers' wages disparities on grounds of sex still exist in the country even after years of the ratification of the International Labour Organization Convention. National Commission on Labour, while noting that the fixation of statutory minimum wages has tended to narrow the gap between men and women, observed that wages discrimination between men and women which still prevails in certain sectors like agriculture and unorganized industries. The Committee on Status of Women in India will also strongly recommend legislative action in this regard to provide for equal pay for equal work. Honorable members of this august House have on several occasions expressed their feelings on this matter and have urged immediate and effective remedial action. The matter was discussed on the 25th session of the Labour Ministers' Conference held in September last year. It was unanimously agreed that the states which had not so far implemented fully the International Labour Organization Convention, both in letter and spirit, should do so by taking appropriate measure to fix wages accordingly to occupations within a period of 3 months by not later than 6 months. It was also suggested that statutory provision be made to prevent bipartite agreements fixing different wages rates for men and women workers, to give effect to the constitutional provision as well as ensure stricter conformity to the International Labour Organization Convention. The Equal Remuneration Ordinance was promulgated by the President. It was much needed and overdue measure designed to benefit a large number of women labor, and it was felt that any delay in promulgating the ordinance would affect adversely the interests of women workers. It was also felt that it will be in the fitness of things to bring forward this measure to implement the provision of the Constitution in the year 2012, which was being celebrated as the International Labour Year. It is proposed to replace the ordinance by an Act of Parliament, so the bill was introduced in the Rajya Sabha.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.